3 practices, 4 positions, 1 mystery. How did Sophie Cunningham stroll into Indiana and rewrite the Fever playbook overnight? She's running point, sniping corner threes, and whispering schemes to Caitlin Clark that cameras can't quite catch. Stick around, because if Sophie keeps bending the rules of positionless basketball, Indiana's season might hinge on a veteran you thought you already knew. Training camp usually opens with predictable storylines. Rookies looking lost, veterans easing in, coaches preaching pace and space. But day 1 inside Ascension Street Vincent Center felt different the instant Sophie snatched the inbound pass and pushed the break herself. No hesitation, no deferential handoff, just a 6-foot wing striding up court, barking out a horns twist call like she'd been running Stephanie White's offense for years. The on-site media crew caught the sequence. Sophie switches from left to right hand, slips a bounce pass through a thigh-high gap, and then sprints to the weak side corner where she buries a catch-and-shoot 3 before the defense even finds her. Coaches whistle the possession dead, but the message is already loud. This isn't Phoenix Sophie, this is positionless Sophie, and she brought her own agenda. But the real shock came 24 hours later when day 2 footage proved day 1 was no fluke. Morning session, 8:12 a.m. Local reporters expect Caitlin Clark to run the opening action, but it's Sophie delivering the elbow entry, reading the overplay, and zipping a backdoor dime to Kelsey Mitchell. 1 possession later, she calls a flat high pick for rookie Celeste Taylor, then waves her off mid-screen because she sees a seam, lowers a shoulder, and powers to the rim. In less than 80 minutes of camp, Sophie has logged ball handling reps, swing wing reps, stretch 4 reps, and even a couple of emergency 5 sets when Aaliyah Boston sits for ice. She's everywhere, and the staff loves it. White remarks afterward, she's got a guard's brain in a forward's frame. We're going to lean into that. The phrase lean into spreads across Fever social channels like wildfire. Clips rack up views and fans notice the subtleties. The way Sophie stunts at a screener to force a turnover. The way she calls out ice coverage before Clark even crosses half court. The way she daps up every rookie after a blown read instead of rolling her eyes. Leadership wrapped in hustle is catnip for coaches. Sophie's serving buffet portions. Yet the best evidence of her Swiss Army impact doesn't come from practice film. It comes from the depth chart scribbled on the whiteboard outside the coach's office. Point guard, Clark, Colson, Berger, Cunningham. Shooting guard, Mitchell, Brown, Cunningham. Small forward, Smith, Brown, Cunningham. Power forward, Boston, Fagbenley, Dantas, Cunningham. Her name appears in every column except center. That's not a courtesy listing. It's the Fever embracing a modern, matchup hunting, positionless attack. Need a secondary creator when Clark sits? Plug in Sophie at the 1. Need a spacer next to Boston's low block gravity? Slide her to the weak side wing. Need a switchable defender against a jumbo perimeter lineup? Roll her out at the 4 with Danta stretching 5. The coaching staff hasn't had a utility piece like this since Candace Dupree's prime, and they're salivating. Still, versatility is theory, execution is practice. So let's rewind further. Before the trade, before the viral practice clips, back to how Sophie became this chameleon in the first place. College basketball remembers Sophie as the fearless scorer at Mizzou who dropped 47 points on Kansas State and taunted half the Big 12 while doing it. She left Columbia as the program's all-time leading 3-point shooter, second in career points, and first in drawing charges that made opposing fan bases boo in unison. Scouts labeled her a glue gun, the kind of player who welds lineups together with toughness and shot making. Phoenix drafted her 13th overall in 2019, but being stationed next to Diana Taurasi can shrink anyone's spotlight. Sophie embraced the gritty jobs, floor spacing, weak side rotations, occasional dust-ups that turned Mercury games into must-watch chaos. Her stat lines rarely popped, 7 points here, 3 rebounds there, yet her on-off numbers did. The Mercury's net rating improved whenever she shared the floor with Skylar Diggins-Smith, proof that Sophie's screens, taps, and talk boosted star guards. By 2023, the Mercury's roster churn left Sophie sliding between the 2, 3, and a small ball 4, averaging 12.8 points on a career best 41% from deep. But 2 Achilles injuries to veterans and a coaching change nudged Phoenix into a rebuild. Indiana saw opportunity and struck a trade, sending future picks for a player who could sponge minutes at 4 positions while guiding Clark through the rookie gauntlet. So when she landed in Indianapolis, she carried more than a suitcase, she carried the blueprint for her next evolution. Practice opens with a half-court shell drill. Clark whips a skip pass. Sophie catches in rhythm, hesitates, pump fakes Lexi Hull off her feet, drives baseline, and kicks to Boston for the easiest 2 of the scrimmage. The subtlety? Sophie points to the rim mid-drive, telling Boston exactly where to cut. Those are the details that scream veteran IQ. Later, during a water break, cameras catch a mic'd-up moment. Clark, your pace opens the lane for me. Keep cooking. Sophie, grinning, only if you keep hitting me when I pop to the slot. Clark, deal, and if you see me miss box out assignments, roast me. Sophie, say less. The banter is playful, but the underlying current is trust. Clark may be the franchise, yet she welcomes accountability from someone who's fought through 7 WNBA seasons of elbows and travel itineraries. That blend, rookie stardom plus veteran steel, could forge the most balanced backcourt forward synergy since Sue Bird found a running mate in a young, unguardable Jewel Lloyd. Of course, synergy is only lethal if the system around it accelerates the pace instead of choking it. White preaches, play fast, think slow. Practices start with 7-second drills. Get the ball over half court in 3 seconds, hit the paint or the paint touch pass before 4 more. Miss the window and the scorekeeper resets. It's brutal cardio, but Sophie thrives. She sprinted a full court relay in 5.8 seconds, best among all forwards, and sank 5 straight transition threes right after, no legs wobbled. Film study reveals how White shifts Sophie between actions. Pistol flare with Mitchell, slice cuts with Smith, and simple pitchbacks to Clark that morph into drag screens. In Phoenix, Sophie's usage rate hovered around 16%. Early analytics from camp scrimmages peg her at 20%, proof the Fever want her fingerprints on every possession. To appreciate what that increased usage means, look at the numbers lurking beneath the surface. Last season, Sophie ranked in the 91st percentile on catch-and-shoot threes among wings, minimum 100 attempts, per synergy. She generated 1.2 2 points per possession as the screener in pick-and-pop sets, top 10 in the league. Her turnover ratio on live ball passes was a microscopic 7.1%, better than several starting guards. Phoenix net rating with Sophie at power forward, plus 4.8, without her, minus 6.2. Now add Indiana's floor spacing, Clark drawing double teams 30 feet out, Mitchell forcing tags with lightning first steps, Boston wreaking havoc inside. Plug Sophie into that chaos, and the math says her effective field goal percentage could crest 58%. Analytics aren't destiny, but momentum loves numbers, and Sophie's trending skyward. Stats persuade analysts, stories persuade fans, and the Sophie story has already infiltrated every corner of basketball Twitter and WNBA Reddit. One viral clip shows Sophie chest-bumping Clark after a no-look dime. The slow-motion replay freezes on Sophie yelling, "Let's eat," as Clark points to the rafters. The GIF loops 2.3 million times in 48 hours. Another angle catches a practice-ending half-court shot attempt. Sophie banks it in, turns to the sideline cameras, and deadpans, "Tell SportsCenter I said hi." Cue memes, compilation edits, and a new fan tag dubbed Cunning Spark. Within a week, Sophie's Instagram follower count jumps 18%. Impressive for a vet entering her age 28 season. But virality doesn't pay rent unless it translates to ticket sales and TV eyeballs. Team marketing leaned in fast. A behind-the-scenes mini-doc series titled 2 Steps Ahead premieres on Fever YouTube, highlighting Sophie's morning routine, her notebook full of play calls, and her candid locker room hack for keeping rookies loose. Country music sing-alongs during taping. Views cross 6 figures before episode 3. While the internet stamps Sophie as the people's champ, insiders are more curious about how she'll counter elite defenses. Coaches across the league quietly note 2 weaknesses: lateral quickness against downhill slashers and finishing in heavy traffic. To blunt the first, Sophie spent the offseason doing sandpit shuffles and resisted band slides. Her feet move 0.06 seconds faster on reaction drills than last preseason. For the second, she's added a soft push shot she unveils on day 3 scrimmage, lofting it over Boston's outstretched wingspan. It drops clean. Clark shouts, "Bag alert!" from the sideline. Bigger picture, defensive schemes can't simply hide smaller guards on Sophie anymore. Post-ups aren't her go-to, but she's comfortable enough to punish a mismatch once or twice a quarter. And if you stick a taller power forward on her, she'll ghost screen into open triples. Pick your poison. Poison is exactly what the Fever hope opponents taste in crunch time, when lineups shrink, nerves spike, and unsung heroes steal the spotlight. White hinted at a closing 5 she calls chaos. Clark, Mitchell, Cunningham, Smith, Boston. The numbers are nasty. Average speed in transition, 3.9 seconds coast to coast. 5 out spacing when Smith pulls the 4 outside, opens slip lanes for Cunningham. Defensively, every player except Clark covers 3 positions. Clark's quick hands gamble in passing lanes behind a wall of switchables. In situational drills, Chaos lineup outscores scout teams 27-9 over 2 possessions each. Sophie's stat line in that stretch: 8 points, 3 assists, 1 steal, 0 turnovers. But what pops is her decoy action, curling hard off a Boston pin down to drag the low man up, freeing Clark's downhill attack. That's basketball IQ meeting selflessness. Selflessness might sound cliche, but inside the Fever facility, it's a creed, enforced by a coach who's tasted championship champagne before most players had a driver's license. White's post-practice huddles last exactly 90 seconds. She rattles off corrections rapid fire, spacing, timing, screen angles, then ends with a mantra. We don't chase greatness, we claim it. Players echo, claim it, before breaking. Sophie, mic'd up again, whispers to rookie Katie Lou Samuelson, if practice is this intense, games will feel like recess. That line ends up on a limited edition Team T by the weekend. Accountability isn't just words. When Sophie misses a tag on a Spain pick and roll, White rewinds the tape, pauses, and points. Correct it on the floor. Sophie raises a hand, taps her chest, and on the next possession beats the roll man to the elbow, forcing a kick out. Mistake made, mistake fixed, noted. Of course, no script is complete without context. How does Sophie's rise fit into the broader WNBA landscape? The league is speeding up. Average pace hit 99.7 possessions per 40 minutes last season, a modern era high. 3-point attempts climbed to 26.4 per game. Positionless wings who can pass are currency. Candace Parker revolutionized it, Alyssa Thomas weaponized it, and now Sophie is the next adapter. Meanwhile, defensive rules boost freedom of movement, rewarding players who sprint to space and punish bruisers lurking in the lane. Sophie's cardio engine and slide switch ability suit this meta. Add the ESPN broadcast deal that features Clark's every move, and suddenly Sophie, by association, gets national primetime windows she's never enjoyed. Opportunity meet readiness. And if you think veterans fade in rookie spotlight seasons, remember the last time a hyped prospect entered the W. A seasoned wing named Dewana Bonner stole a finals game while everyone chased Brianna Stewart quotes. Sophie keeps a handwritten journal. Every practice she jots 3 wins, 3 fixes, 1 wild idea to test tomorrow. On day 3, the wild idea reads, flash from corner to elbow when Catlin gets iced. Force low man to commit, dump off will be open. Next morning she shows Clark. They run it. It works twice in a row. That's iterative chemistry. Off the court, her veteran habits set tone. Ice baths at 6 a.m., film session while biking, recovery yoga before dinner. Rookies orbit around her because routine breeds longevity. Clark jokes on a podcast, Sophie's the team Fitbit. If you slack, she chirps you. All those micro edges funnel into one macro conclusion. Every season a narrative hijacks the league. This year it is Clark's stardom, and rightfully so, but greatness rarely blooms without sturdy roots. Sophie Cunningham is planting those roots in Indiana soil right now. Her toolbox is overflowing. Catch and shoot sniping, point forward orchestration, switch everything defense, veteran accountability, viral charisma. If she maintains the synergy shown in these first 3 blistering days of camp, and if Stephanie White unleashes the Chaos 5 in live action, Sophie won't just be a supporting actor in Clark's story. She'll be the co-author. She'll be the reason Indiana flips close losses into signature wins and turns league-wide curiosity into playoff credibility. So the next time you fire up a Fever broadcast and cameras chase the rookie with limitless range, keep your eyes on number 9 lurking in the corner, because while defenders scramble to blitz the superstar, Sophie will ghost a screen, relocate, and sink the daggers that truly matter. She isn't here to chase greatness, she's here to claim it, and in Indiana, that claim starts now.